Anyone who knows me is probably aware that I am a fan of a show called Winx Club. However, I have not mentioned that there is a lot of drama in the Winx Club fandom. I'm not going to talk about all of these conflicts because that would be exhausting and would take literally forever. However, there is one particular hot button issue in the fandom that I would like to weigh in on, and that is about all of the hatred towards a certain couple in the show, Aisha and Nex. I personally really like Aisha and Nex together, but unfortunately, if you try and give your opinions on that to the Winx Club fandom, a lot of times you will be screamed at or barraged with hate or told to commit suicide. Yeah, that's a thing that has happened to people. I love the world. It seems to me that a lot of people in the Winx Club fandom either refuse to listen to Aisha and Nex fans with an open mind, or they're afraid to express their true opinions due to that first group of people. So, I am going to talk about them. Aisha and Nex have a lot of potential as a couple that I think a lot of people ignore, and I just want my opinion about these two to be put out there on the internet. I'm not trying to force anyone to agree with me. I'm just asking people to listen with an open mind to my opinions and to promote calm and rational discussion instead of what some people normally do. So, this is the beginning of a series about Aisha and Nex. Yes, a series of videos. It's summer vacation, and I have way too much free time on my hands, so why the heck not? This first video is mostly going to be a summary of Aisha and Nex's relationship so far, as well as an overview of her relationships with Naboo and Roy. This is so that everyone can be on the same page when we're discussing things, and it's also to get my regular viewers, all two of them, that don't watch Winx Club up to speed. Finally, keep in mind that I am a very sarcastic human being. It just kind of happens. I'm sorry. And while I'm going to try and keep much of my personal opinions out of this particular video and mostly keep it objective, I will occasionally make a sarcastic joke, usually at Roy's expense. Please just know that I do have actual logical reasons for why I ship Aisha and Nex, and that I'm not just trying to be a jerk, but I'm going to put those ideas into another video because this video is already too freaking long. So if I say something that frustrates you or seems really judgmental or one-sided, just know that I probably don't really mean it and that I do have actual reasons for deciding to dedicate my time to this series. Alright, without further ado, let's play that definitely copyrighted theme music.
10 minutes ago I saw you. I looked up when you came through the door. My head started reeling, you gave me the feeling the room had no ceiling or floor. 10 minutes ago I met you, and we murmured our how-do-you-dos. I wanted to ring out the bells and fling out my arms and to sing out the news. I have found her, she's an angel with the dust of the stars in her eyes. We are dancing, we are flying, and she's taking me back to the stars. In the arms of my love I'm flying, over mountain and meadow and glen. And I like it so well that for all I can tell I may never come down again. I may never come down to earth again.
Aisha was added to Winx Club's main cast during its second season, and her whole character is that she's super epic in combat, and she plays literally every sport that exists, and she's awesome at using magic, and she's really outgoing, but also really competitive and stubborn. But also she's emotionally scarred because as a child she only had one friend who then left her alone, and her parents expected her to be all prim and proper and not play sports, so now she has trust issues on top of an incredible fear of loneliness and isolation. But, she's fine. She's better now. She's fine. She's fine. In Season 3, Aisha discovers that her parents have forced her into an arranged marriage with some man named Naboo that she's never met, and she is understandably not happy about that. Later in the season, she catches some dude with wizard powers stalking the Winx as they're getting ready to leave on their magical spaceship, so she tries to lock him in the ship's prison, but due to hijinks, she ends up getting locked in there with him. They get to talking and discover that they actually have quite a lot in common. The wizard is also a rebellious soul born into a wealthy, strict family, and he also happens to be good at every sport that exists, and they like the same music, and they can both use magic, and yeah, they fall in love. Then the wizard reveals that, plot twist, he is actually Naboo, the arranged husband, and he ran away from home so that he could observe, aka stalk, his future wife to discover what she was like before he had to marry her. I mean, I guess I should be weirded out, but it's still a lot less weird than Sparks shipping, so I'll take it. Okay, besides the stalking, Naboo's a good character. He always encourages Aisha and his other friends and helps them with any problems they have, as well as their various trust and anger issues and their inability to treat their girlfriends like regular human beings. Also, as the only member of the Specialists who can use magic, he often ends up being the only one who can actually contribute to the plot. And their scenes together are pretty cute, but they're also really generic, which is standard for Winx Club couples, so I can't really get on them too much for that. But honestly, there isn't a whole lot going on with them. They're just kind of one of the few dramaless couples that sits in the back and watches Bloom and Sky try to kill each other. Aisha has a tendency to get really mushy when she's around Naboo, which once again is what most of the couples in the show do. But since Aisha is all super proud and stubborn and hashtag feminism, it just feels really out of character for her.
Naboo, it's nice to see you again.
Hey, are you alright, Aisha?
Yes, now that you're here, I am.
Aisha, don't be such a baby.
Aisha and Naboo tell their parents that, though they did end up being a good match for each other, they want to take their relationship slower and get married when they feel it's time. And that time ends up being just 13 episodes later. Well, and one movie, which in in-universe time is a year and a half at best. So, like, clearly y'all didn't want to take it that slow. Okay, this is irrelevant to the main point of my video, but I feel like everyone should know that in the Nickelodeon dub, instead of Naboo asking Aisha to marry him, he says this.
Aisha, I want you to know how cool you are and how glad I am that we met.
I'm so happy that I met you too, Naboo.
I was wondering if you'd like to be my forever girlfriend.
Oh, Naboo, that's the sweetest thing.
Phew, I wasn't sure how to put it.
Forever girlfriend.
Why does Naboo's voice actor sound dead inside? Unfortunately, Aisha never gets to be Naboo's forever girlfriend. Tragically, in one of the last episodes of Season 4, Naboo sacrifices himself to stop the villain's evil plans, and he dies. No, seriously.
Wherever you are, anytime, in any world, I'll always be with you. These eyes, Aisha. Mustn't cry. I love you.
I was wondering where my childhood innocence went. Thanks, Rainbow! Both Aisha and the Winx fandom are understandably distraught about this, so for a brief period of time, Aisha actually turns evil so that she can get her revenge on the dudes who killed Naboo, but then she realizes that revenge isn't fulfilling, so then she changes sides back, and meanwhile her friends are all crying on the beach. Guys, they are literally having characters go through the freaking stages of grief on a cartoon about fairies aimed at 4-year-old children. What is happening? Also, Naboo's corpse, like, turns into a bunch of flowers and then explodes or something. Season 5! At the beginning of the season, though Aisha is better than she was before, she still keeps lapsing into depression and remorse over Naboo quite often. Early in the season, they have an episode where the girls are confronted by their worst fears, and Aisha is greeted with the lovely image of her dead boyfriend blaming her for his demise.
Naboo! Oh, Naboo, I miss you so much.
Then why did you let me die? You let me die.
Oh,
You could have saved me, but you let me die.
no, that's not true. You know that's not true.
I literally don't even have a joke for this part. However, because Aisha is freaking amazing, she almost instantly realizes that this whole thing is an illusion, and she snaps out of it, and she has to help the other girls snap out of it as well. And keep in mind that she was the first to realize that it was fake, and the other girls, were not being confronted by their dead lovers, and yet Aisha is the first person to freak. Aisha, how? You are amazing. Literally, in this same episode, we're introduced to this guy, Roy. He works for Aisha's father, and sometimes he goes into the ocean with the Winx on their different missions, and he can use magic sometimes, but not always, and I guess he likes sports, and he seems to have a crush on Aisha, but she doesn't like him, but she also does kind of like him. This whole arc is just really poorly written in almost every single way, to the point where I don't know if I can accurately describe it to you for this video, so like, yeah, that's all I got. Roy weaves in and out of season 5, and half of the episodes that he is in, he doesn't even interact with Aisha at all. There is literally a point where he has a conversation with her in episode 9, and then he doesn't talk to her again until episode 24. And episode 24 is an adventure. Most of the episode is the Winx and the Specialist going on separate missions, and then at one point, Roy just dives into the ocean, and when he shows up, Aisha's tone of voice when she greets him is my favorite thing.
Roy?
She's just so bemused by his presence. Roy? Oh, hey there, my maybe love interest. I haven't seen you in like 15 episodes. And then there's a gigantic fight scene, and Roy gets hit by a magic spell at one point and like maybe almost dies, and then this happens?
Roy! Roy, wake up!
I'm okay. It's okay.
Oh. They're all right behind me, aren't they?
Uh-huh.
Hey!
So, these people who have not interacted for 15 episodes straight are suddenly in love and, like, about to kiss? Why? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Besides the two of them both being attractive, like, why would they want to... What? Okay. I promised myself that this was not going to be the video where I get super into criticizing Aisha and Roy's relationship, and I'm trying to not be overly biased or come across as rude, because that's what I'm asking other fans to try and do, and I don't want to be a hypocrite. But I personally do not see the appeal of a ship where there is so little chemistry or development between the two characters involved, and they have barely interacted with each other at all. And the weird thing is, from my experience, when this episode first aired, the fandom didn't really ship them that much either, like most of the fandom generally. Most fans were just kind of like, oh, well, like, Roy is nice enough, like, sure, let him be Aisha's boyfriend, like, what could possibly go wrong? But then season 6 happened, and it brought one of the most botched character introductions, and one of the most overly contrived love triangles that I have ever experienced. So, first off, in season 6, Aisha and Roy aren't even acting like a couple, despite season 5 heavily implying that they are a couple now. Like, Roy is still working really hard to try and impress Aisha, and Aisha's still awkwardly flirting with him while also awkwardly flirting with this other guy. And since this is a kids show, I doubt that they're gonna let one of the main characters not be loyal in a relationship, so